Welcome to Two Dads in a Podcast, The Guardian's Daughter.
Yes, the podcast is The Daughter.
So today we get to interview the author of The Guardian's Daughter and do a little Q&A or AMA or PVC,
Or PDF.
LSD,
PCP. We got a gallon of that shit
tonight. So A.M. McPherson is our guest today, and we're excited to start this and get a little bit of in-depth look of how you actually go about making a book. Because it was my understanding.
Well, she doesn't make the book. She wrote it. And
actually, I'm back here gluing the pages together one by one and shipping them out.
I was going to say, your penmanship is crazy good.
I know, right?
Almost looked like a machine did it.
I know, I'm just that talented.
You should see what the house looks like. Papers everywhere. It's crazy.
I mean, my son doesn't have a bedroom anymore. He just sleeps in the garage.
It's a printing press.
Over his room. It's a printing press.
It's kind of like an episode of Hoarders.
That's not true. No one believed that, please.
So,
oh man.
Oh crap.
So, I guess when you're starting writing a book, did you do a lot of creative writing early on before you started like actually getting the ideas together for the book? Or...
Well, Joe, that's a very good question, and I did some when I was. oh, you were asking.
I would just run into the other room and unplug his microphone and just take it away.
I might need to. I'll take a fish in there and just slap him with it. That'll be fine.
Interesting you'd ask that.
Yeah. Interesting that you would ask.
So am I allowed to talk, honey?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
I give you permission.
Oh, thank you.
I will permit this.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for today.
Thank you so much for coming on, honey.
It was... Tired Dad has seen his last moment.
Tired Dad is finally getting the sleep he's asked for
so long. But to answer your question,
whatever
Joe,
helps the ratings. If murder helps the ratings.
Live murder podcast. Oh, that could be catchy, you know?
Live murder podcast. Wait a second.
Now back to the question.
I'm gonna make so much money off of you two. And when I cover the story,
he's gonna, license out the movie rights.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so before I actually got hardcore into writing The Guardian's Daughter, I hadn't really done any creative writing for quite some time. I did do some back in college for a hot moment. I wrote this great book, a chapter to this great book called The Drama Queen. It was great. It was going to be the next American classic until my class was like, what the hell? So I kind of put my writing pen down for a little while, but so when I started back up with trying to write this, I did a lot of brainstorming on it, and I had to write a lot of chapters to figure out exactly how I wanted to write it and the story I wanted to write, which poor Tired Dad had to read many, many beautiful copies of that story. It was great, let me tell you. But,
I only read like 100 drafts or so.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's fine.
But then, while I was writing this, I decided to go back to school to finish my degree. So when I went back, I ended up taking another creative writing class at that point, which helped me figure out a few other little things, which was good. But up until that moment, like I said, it'd been a long time since I actually had sat down and tried to write anything. And it mainly was also rooted back into also, like I mentioned earlier in another podcast, that in high school I felt like I couldn't write very well because my teachers always just seemed to kind of put me down sometimes. And it was just more, I just needed to take the time to learn more. And I always just kind of gave up really quickly. So... But yeah, poor Tired Dad had to read a lot of drafts.
Why do you think I'm tired? It's not because I'm a dad.
He had to read all these drafts. It's all the book's fault. All of it.
He just has a manga like on top of the pages while he's reading, and it's
Shh.
really
That's why you don't. That's why you always say it's fine, huh?
Giving away my secrets.
you know, I like it, but I think you could have done more with Alphonse Ulrich's character development. Who?
No, see, I would know that one.
Fuhrer Bradley really has a very singular character, and I think he needs to be more dynamic. Wait a second.
I'd be like, wait, are you reading Full Metal?
So I have to ask because TD and I are not the greatest at promoting. Not that we're like bad, but we're pretty bad at it. You seem to do a lot to promote. You have like I don't know, 20 times more followers and stuff on the Insta pages and the my books and
Pages.
all that. It looks like it's a lot of work. How much work do you put into promoting it to become successful? Not just that, because like I joke around and do like promo Joe stuff where I just jump onto people's posts and plug my shows, but it's not, none of it's taken seriously. Do you want the job or not?
I want the job. I always want
to promote us.
Oh, I did just quit my job as a marketing director, so my schedule is open more. But that's the thing, honestly, with social media, and I had to learn too, honestly. I kind of feel like I cheat the system a little bit because I did do marketing for my day job as well. Totally different field of work, of course, because one's trying to do book promotion and one's doing financial promotion. It's like, hey, you need a loan to buy shit you don't need? Yes, come here. Like fun times.
Right,
but
right.
Hey, you need a loan to buy shit you don't need? Buy my book.
Yes, use it to buy my book. Buy 100 copies of my book.
They make great stocking stuffers, and
they do.
Your family would appreciate it.
I'm just this.
I mean,
shit, easily.
You buy 100 copies, you can kindle your Christmas fire while you read a copy of it while sleeping on a bed of them. Like, do whatever you want.
But the thing is with social media, it honestly is a job on its own. And I was fortunate in the sense when I started. The one thing on Instagram, there's a great writing community on there. They're very supportive, and I managed to tap into that. But the biggest thing is you have to do with social media, and Tyre Dad and I talked about this all the time, is you have to get the people to care about you first. When they're invested in you and they can relate to you, they're more open to learning more about you and what you're trying to do and to support you, which is what has helped me the most in the end right now, because I took the time. I've been on Instagram. Oh, it's been well over a year and a half now. Like, it took me a year and a half to build, I'm shy of about 2,000 followers right now. But to be honest, in Instagram terms, that's still a small amount of followers compared to some of the bigger people on there. And, there's some, like, I have some great Instagrammer friends who, started, after I did, but they've already surpassed me and they have like 2,500. And it's hard not to play the comparison game all the time of, what am I doing wrong and what are they doing right? I don't get, like, you don't understand it sometimes, but it really is just, you guys
understand a lot of things a lot of times.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's really, it is hard because everyone, I feel like, on social media is trying to be like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. But I think the true sense of it is.
Look at you. So.
The podcast.
I'm not talking about you, Tyre Dad.
Oh.
But, you gotta. Just like anybody, I know me personally, I don't want things always shoved in my face to try to be sold to. You want to be able to relate to a person, and when you're able to relate to them and connect with them on an emotional level, you're more prone to support that person. I know that personally, even like with different YouTubers I support, I really enjoyed their content. I feel like I relate to them, so I support them on Patreon for that. So
that's where I went wrong, because I just kept opening the podcast on my phone and shoving it into people's faces.
I mean, that's probably not a good thing.
And they're just like, I can't hear it. Like,
see what's funny over the last few years, I've helped Tired Mom out by giving her some of this advice and looking through and kind of helping her.
That we talked about it, good sir.
help. Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about it, and I helped you kind of figure out some of this stuff, and still can't get us past 100 fucking followers.
Well, you know, and sometimes it is just hard. It is honestly hard. And one thing too that plays into factor here too is honestly that good old algorithm with most of the stuff. Like if you're not consistent with your feed and you don't post every day or not consistently, the algorithm's gonna kill you. Like no matter, say you even post straight for 2 weeks and you're doing great, but then you skip a week and you go back, the algorithm doesn't care. You're more likely than to lose your followers and not have your stuff shown to them all because of that. You have to be consistent and you have to keep doing it. And that's where it does get hard sometimes if you're trying to balance it with everything else you're doing in your life.
I'm too tired for that shit.
Well, you know, I get up usually at 6:30 in the morning and I spend the first 30 minutes to an hour of my morning usually typing up an Instagram post, figuring out the image I want to use. And that's why
I know.
Like I have a whole bunch of selfies and other images stored on my phone to just use as backup when I don't feel like doing a fresh image that day. But
I'll wake up in the morning and open up my phone and Instagram's opened up. So it's like, wait a second, am I sleep Instagramming again?
Well, it's even like, you know, when I did my release day posts, I spent literally like 2-3 hours trying to get the perfect photo for my release, and it worked out pretty well. For me, like likewise, I got over 220 likes, I think, on it, which was huge for me.
I took 75 pictures, and she didn't use one of them.
I didn't like them, so I spent, you know, like
legitimately, I took over 75 pictures.
It wasn't good, man.
You know what? You're supposed to point the camera at her, not at yourself.
Oh, that's where I messed up. Oh.
Concerning the book itself, I can see at the bottom of the cover it says Book 1 of the Stolworth Chronicles. Is this a book that the ending sort of wraps up neatly, or is it leading to the next step?
So the first book, it does wrap up neatly. Probably like the one major plot point throughout the whole book, which is mainly revolving around Ember and Aiden. But there's a lot of other subplots going on that are not resolved that go over into the next book. So I tried to find a good balance between wrapping up a couple loose ends and making sure like the one major arc throughout the whole book was satisfied for the reader, so it didn't feel like you're being gypped. But also I can't wrap up everything because, well, there's going to be 3 more books. So, you know, I feel like I have gotten reviews saying I have gotten feedback that I did do a good balance with that. So, but like I said, there's some things that are wrapped up and there's some things that are not, and that's because you have to do that with books. There's a reason why in Harry Potter we don't learn a whole much about Voldemort until like book 3 or 4. I feel like.
Yeah, I never made it that far. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought you said you read the book 5, Joe.
I just say things. I got
you.
That's why I do the sort of podcast thing. I can just say whatever I want. I don't have to tell the truth.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Or is it?
My lie detector test over here says that was a lie. No.
Yeah, they were probably. I remember reading at least like 5 different final chapters. You know, trying to help get that balance between major cliffhanger versus wrapping everything up and not really leaving a lot open. So like, it definitely. To kind of piggyback what she was saying, like it is a balance. It's a big balancing act.
Well, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I first draft, I actually did kind of leave it on a huge cliffhanger. But then I decided, like, no, I need to wrap it up slightly. So like,
what am I doing? Writing an episode of fucking Lost here? What am I doing with this?
An episode.
Well, then what ended up actually happening was I tweaked it some to leave it, you know, not as open, but it was still a little more open. But I got a lot of, I did beta reading, and from my beta readers, I got feedback. They were like, you know, I felt like this was cut off a little too quickly. So after I got that feedback, I was like, you know, I really need to think about this. And so I ended up adding, like, I think it was 3 more chapters to the end of it. Mm-hmm. And I was much more satisfied with the ending result. And I was like, yes, it does feel right. But it took me a little bit to figure out how to wrap it up well enough for it being a first book, but also being the first book of a series.
Right. And I just realized Lost is almost now a 20-year-old reference.
I've never seen Lost, so...
I haven't either, but I know all about the... Man.
Wasn't there a big monster or something on the island? Am I thinking of something else?
I didn't finish it. I don't finish a lot of things.
Too many cliffhangers, man.
Like that bowl of cereal. I keep saying stuff about cereal. I don't know.
But so that'll lead me into my next question, which is one that I actually ask a lot in interviews. But for that one, it's talking about their physical voice. But for you, there's a sort of voice when it comes to writing something. How long did it take you to develop your style, your voice, and do you like it? And if you do, was there a struggle to get to like your own voice within writing?
Took me a long. It did take me quite some time. I think it probably took me probably a full probably like 8 months, maybe 10 months even to figure out exactly how I wanted to write it. But it probably took me 8 to 10 months to exactly figure out how I want to write it because I kept debating about like the tense I wanted to write it in, the point of view I wanted to write it in. So I seriously would write like half the book and realize like, wait, I don't like this point of view, and I would have to go back and change it all, which it was so much work, and poor tired dad had to keep reading each of those drafts. 'Cause I'd be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it took me a long time to figure that out and develop it. But once I got it down, it was pretty much just finding like your favorite sweater, and then you just want to never take it off because it fits so perfectly and you're very comfortable with it. And that's how I feel now with writing. Like, I have my style down. I know exactly how I want to write it. I'm very comfortable with it. I know I can of course perfect it more and I can still learn more, but I am very comfortable with it and how I've written the book.
Well, as a young writer, and this is your first novel series, book series. When you come to another book series, do you think you'll keep that voice, or do you think you'll try to approach it in more of a, I guess, organic way and see what comes of it? Because there are ton of famous writers who have that one voice style, and that's how they write everything they do, and it's them. If you just read a random page, you can pick out some of these writers, and then there are others that are more fluid depending on what they're writing. What do you think you would go with in the future?
Yeah, I have dabbled a little bit in doing a little bit of a different voice already, because I've started a side series called The Adventures of Lime, which is based off of a little rock golem character inside the Guardian's Daughter, and I did that in a different way to pretty much push myself to learn how to write a little bit differently, and it's a little bit harder to write first person point of view from a rock golem's point of view because when he was first created, it's not like he would know English language very well.
Right.
So I had to get really creative with that. To be honest, it would come down more because I do have an idea of once I'm done with the Stella Chronicles, which keep in mind it's probably going to take me quite some time because I have a whole bunch of ideas or side stories with it.
Right.
But there's a ghost detective series I have ideas about that I want to do after this one, and I'm not 100% sure how I'd write it.
Now,
More than likely,
is that a detective that solves like ghost mysteries, or is that a ghost who is a detective?
a ghost who is a detective.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
I
funny.
wanted it to be
I mentioned this
about.
in another interview, and they asked me the same thing, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about like it was like a detective doing ghost stories." I was like, "No, it's actually like a ghost detective."
It's a ghost detective doing ghost stories.
He solves all the mysteries, but nobody in the series can see ghosts, and so none of those.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. It's like there's this ghost detective who. I have an idea of the backstory, but is trying to figure out ways because she's solving these mysteries, and she's like, "But how can I get people to know what's going on? I'm a ghost."
Do I reach these kids?
So that's where it comes through. There might be
like the TV goes staticky.
yeah.
And they're like,
Well, there might be some possession. There might be some writing on the walls, literally. You know what I mean? Like different fun ideas like that. So that's something like it's been in the back of my mind, like slightly brainstorming, but I'm so focused on the Star Wars Chronicles world, it's hard for me to... I'm the kind of person, when I get focused on one thing, I want to finish that one thing, get it done before I move on to the next. So that's how I am with this
I
whole
wish I was
series.
that way. I would have finished so many more video games.
Sometimes it's hard once you get into that focus and frame of mind to then distract yourself with something else. Did you ever, or I'm sure you did, but how often did you ever reach a point where you had to walk away from it for a while and not even think about it? Because that happens as a musician to me all the time. I will get writer's block and I will shove something away and then discover it again a few months later, and my energy for that will be revitalized. Did that happen during your writing process?
I wish that happened during the writing process more.
I was just gonna say, actually, with me, because I've had people ask me before, like, how you get through writer's block, and for me to get how I deal with writer's block is I keep working. I will, if I can't figure out something that I'm trying to figure out in that one scene, I'll just put in like a little insert, like, you know, so and so did so and so, and then skip to the next scene to then work on it and try to keep, you know.
There were so many drafts I would be reading through, and it would be like, insert description here, and I was like, ooh, that's a really good description.
Leave it.
But you know, if I would get hung up on something or I wasn't quite sure, I'd be like, you know what, I don't have to figure this out right now. I can move on and figure out the next thing. So I would just keep working on the stuff I knew I was for sure about. Then there's like one chapter I was just writing recently I kind of struggled with. I just kept going back and playing with it. Like I would just write it really rough, figure it out, and then go back in and kind of just fill it in as much as I could, leave it for a day, work on something else, go back, fill it in some more, tweak it, cut out, be like, okay, no, this doesn't work. Me just walking away from something causes me more stress than sitting down there and just trying to figure it out. And don't get me wrong, like if I would reach a point where I'm like, okay, I do think I just should maybe wait a day and look back at this with fresh eyes, I'll do that. But I can't just let it sit there for like a month and not look at it to write or anything like that. Like for me to get through a writer's block is to just keep working and getting through it that way.
That would have given me a break.
See, I wish I was brave enough to approach writer's block like that. I have too much fear to that whatever I come up with will be shit and I'll hate it and then I will get down on myself. So that's a really brave thing to do, to just push through.
You know, like I've told a lot of other people, because I've heard a lot of people say, you know, they, you know, either feel stupid or they're scared it's gonna be shit. And it's like, you know, no one's looking over your shoulder while you're doing this. Like, it's all you. Like, I never had to.
Your dad is,
you know,
while you're doing it.
You know, I'm used to him, but you know what I mean. To be honest, though, there's no one there looking over your shoulder while you write. Write something bad. Write something stupid. Who cares? Like, that's going to help you learn and develop and make it better. If you don't get that out, you're never going to know what you can do. So like it can be intimidating at first, but that's the biggest thing. I'm like, no one's watching you do this, right? Just do it, you know. Do it.
You say that
for those of you who are just listening, she flexed in front of the camera. Just do it,
the Hulk style, Hulk smash style. So is there any aspirations for a comic book in your future?
Oh God.
As a comic book nerd, I have to ask.
I mean, to be honest, have I thought about it? Yes, but I'm also like, I have very little monies and I don't know anybody who would want to draw this out into a comic book. So, probably not anytime soon unless I sell that 20,000 copies. Oh my goodness, yes. Hashtag get AM to 20,000.
Hashtag pay our bills for us, please.
Mama needs to write book 2.
Give us a little bit of rundown without spoiling the book, because we don't want to do that. But give us a little rundown of some of the characters in the book.
Oh, so, you went on to characters. I was just about to start. In a world full of abilities.
I know. I thought he was going to ask for a basic description. Then he got
just read the blurb. No, he asked a legitimate question instead of
a legit question.
He's not softballing.
That's what you get out of me. Is I get I never go where you expect me to go. That's the type of.
I'll have to remember that's your motto. That's your slogan. There's two main characters, and the book goes between their point of view. Ember Volterra and Aiden Styles. Ember is the daughter of 2 guardians who got murdered when she was younger, which she actually witnessed live on TV. Yeah, they're dead. So because of the world, how it's set up, it is in a world full of abilities.
In a world full of abilities.
Will you shut up, babe?
No, he doesn't
No,
do that.
I don't.
You should know by now.
We've been together for how long?
I know.
We've been together since like elementary school, but you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
there's
Joe and I have been together longer.
I understand. I understand. But in the world, so some people choose to use their abilities to be guardians to help protect the city, whereas other people kind of have normal jobs. Because in the world, abilities are the norm. So it was kind of a look at like what would happen if abilities are just normalized. Like would
and
everyone just be
everybody's special,
heroes?
nobody's special.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But
All
actually,
right, syndrome.
but pretty much, I created a world where, like Aiden's mom, she has the power to fly, and so she is actually a supervisor at an airport. Like
Spoilers.
that's not really a huge spoiler. But like
It is
it's
literally.
like,
I'm flipping through it. Is literally on page 2.
yeah, like if there's a problem with the plane, which actually I don't think I delved too far into the details with, but like she's a technician also. Like she'll fly up to help the planes. Like I try to do unique, different twists and turns with abilities like that to be like how they would be considered more normalized in a normal society like this. But anyways, so Ember, being the daughter of these famous guardians who were murdered, she tends to shy away for quite some time away from the world because the press really wants to come after her and find out if she's going to be a guardian like her parents. So, she kind of stays to herself until she eventually decides she wants to go to university, and that's where she meets Aiden at. Whereas Aiden, I can't get too much into his story without giving too much away, but he's striving to be a hero. He was inspired by the Guardians he grew up watching, interacting with, so to say. And when he meets Ember, he's tormented because there's a secret he was instructed to keep that revolves around her. But he tries to stay away, but he ends up, struggling with those emotions throughout the whole book of wanting to be closer to her, but hiding something from her. But he's a very hardworking individual. He's very honorable, one of those good strapping young men who tries to do it, but he also struggles with depression and anxiety really bad. So it kind of goes through his struggles with that, how, back even when he was younger, his family went through family therapy because his dad used to have drinking problems, because his dad actually is somebody who doesn't have abilities, which is unnormal in this world. It's very, very rare for that to happen, but because his dad didn't have abilities and he was married to somebody who does, and his kid having abilities, he kind of took it hard and created this drinking problem. But his family went through therapy, so my book takes a really deep look at mental health and all the aspects around that as well. And then there's a couple fun side characters. The two, I'll just get kind of like the two main side characters. There's Stella Morris, who has the abilities to create little rock golems, which she created Lime. He's just a little limestone golem who she created. It was her first creation, and she never had the heart to put him back to sleep, so to say. So he's always there causing a little mischief. He's loosely based off of my son. And then the other kind of main side character would be Billy Prin. He's Aiden's best friend. He's been there helping Aiden throughout everything, with Aiden going through some severe depression and all that. And he has ability. His skin is always constantly shifting colors, and he can camouflage, but like I said, his skin's always kind of shifting. It's almost like camouflage in a way, but it can be different colors at times. It pretty much tries to blend in with his surroundings, so it's always just shifting until he decides to blend in. And he's really, really buff, so he has like some super strength in a sense. But that's probably like the main the biggest 4 characters I would say to go over.
So, real quick, run us through everywhere we can find this book, how we can support you, anything else you want to touch upon about the book that maybe I missed through this, and I guess the best way to follow what you're doing and be doing in the future.
So I do have a website. It's www.ammcpherson.com. If you go there, you can find pretty much any links you need. The Guardian's Daughter is available wide, which means it's available on more platforms than just Amazon. So it's available at like Barnes & Noble's, Book A Million,
Target.
ebooks like Target. Yes, Target. I'm on Target.com, baby. But so I have most of the links on my page on there. I am most active on Instagram at AMC Writer. I pretty much post on there. I feel like almost every day. Sometimes I might take Sunday off. I'm also on Facebook at AMC Writer, which I post on there maybe like a once or twice a week maybe. But I have a Twitter, but don't follow me on there. I'm never on there. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a Twitter, and I try to tweet like once every 2 months, I think. I actually have like in my Twitter profile, like I'm most active on Instagram. Go follow me there. But yeah, Instagram would definitely be the biggest platform to follow me on to stay up to date with what I'm doing. And again, I'm at AMC Writer on there.
All right, nice. Is there anything else you want to talk about with your book?
Good. You should buy it. No, but seriously, I do have a hashtag get AM to 20,000. But no, seriously, actually, I do have available, if you sign up for my newsletter, if you go to my website, you can actually read the prologue and chapter 1 and 2 to see if you think it's something you like, if you like my writing style and the little bit that you get to read of it. So before you commit to buying it, you can pretty much try it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, when I did release it did get to a number 103 in young adult superhero fiction, so I can toot that horn, toot toot.
Nice.
So I was very happy for that. I was really, if I didn't have
and unlike our 108, and there's nerdy podcast, and there's only 109 in existence, yours actually is competing with a lot of different books. So
but yeah, I was really excited about that because I first was like, oh, I'm not going to pay attention to any rankings, but when I saw it actually get close to being in the top 100 in that category,
that's
I
crazy.
wished I was a little disappointed that I couldn't push it over the final hump, but there was other things going on that week that unfortunately distracted me from being able to promote it as much as I really wanted to originally, so I wasn't able to get over that hump. And of course, release day is the biggest sales day, especially for things like this. But I was really excited. But if you want to check out reviews as well to get an idea, there's 17 actual written reviews on Goodreads.com for it, so you can check that out as well. And I think there's 11 reviews right now on Amazon.
Okay, I was just gonna read an excerpt from the book. This book is a work of fiction. Any names, characters, places, and incidents are either a product of the author's imagination or purely fictitious.
In
Now,
case
if that
you didn't
doesn't
know.
get you, if that doesn't get you hooked in, no, I'm not going to spoil any of the actual book. Fucking go buy it, man.
I will say, I do have like a trigger warning. Violence, strong language, and themes of mental health, i.e. anxiety, depression, and mentions of suicide. Reader discretion is advised. So there's that too, because I did want to put that in there since it is a young adult book.
There is a wonderful
There's
excerpt
some strong
from the book.
language. Yes.
Now that you have a
that's
real
the only
idea.
excerpt you need, guys. That's the only one you need to know. That's the whole book right there. But no, I wrote. I'm sure Joe, you've heard this through Russ, but I wrote this book while I was struggling a lot with anxiety and postpartum depression pretty hard. So it was really special to me to write a book that helped other people in a healthy way understand mental health and awareness, and that it's okay. And sometimes the strongest person in the room is actually the one who can be the one struggling the most. So that's it, guys. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Hope we can meet sometime in real life. Maybe.
Maybe we can meet sometime at a book signing or something.
Yeah, I know that'd be great.
I still, TD, I still have to get you to sign my copy, but
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Well, guys, thank you. Honestly, thank you for coming on and having a lot of fun with us, and for last episode, and doing the superhero romances, and then talking about the book and kind of sharing your adventure. And for everybody listening, as always, if you have any comments that you want to give to A.a. McPherson, normally this is where I would share all of our social media, but just go to the fucking website and talk to her, okay? I'm not a middleman. Okay?
Just go to Instagram. Go to my Instagram, bro.
Yeah, comment on her Instagram posts. She's on there all the time.
All the time.
Honey, eat your food. It's dinner time. Get off of Instagram. No.
I think you're talking about you and Reddit, actually.
Shh. This isn't about me. This
Here's
isn't
the
about
series.
me.
You've been trying to make this about you the whole time. It's going to be about you right now.
When do we get one about me? Damn it!
When you write a book.
I wrote it, but strangely, nobody wanted to pick up my epilogue about squirrels and their mating habits.
Oh man, are you the squirrel whisperer? Do you have $5 million
that
to get
was
your new
me.
treehouse?
That is me on Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah. Follow my Instagram, Squirrel the Whisperer. Or
if that's an actual Instagram, I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh! Actually, I'm pretty positive there's someone I just started following on Instagram.
The Squirrel Whisperer.
And she's on YouTube. No, she's Squirrels of a Feather. My bad. That's her name.
Okay.
Nah, Squirrel Whisperer. I was about to get really excited there for a second.
No, that's not her. That's my name. We just went through this.
But guys, if you have any comments for us for 2DAP, you can reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, 2dap2020@gmail.com. Yes, I will pass on any messages if you're uncomfortable going to a different website. Don't worry about it. Okay.
I will not.
But my website's so pretty.
It is.
Don't go to the mobile version though.
Don't look at the mobile version of the website.
Go to the computer. I can't figure out the mobile.
Check us out on YouTube, Patreon. Get in touch with us.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of interviews on there with not a.k.a. McPherson.
No, just this one.
This is the only one with her.
I mean, I have other interviews, but this is my only one with you guys.
Yeah, we were her third choice.
Actually, I think you guys are my 8th choice now.
Like 9th. Oh. Like, I mean, we were low priority on this.
You just talked to me about this the other week, tired dad.
So
man, couldn't even get the scoop on it.
Nope.
Or we gotta like live with you to get like the.
What do I need to do to get the inside scoop here? Sleep with you or something?
I'll tell you tonight.
Ooh.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
Oh man.
All right, play the next thing.
Oh, okay. So I guess I should talk about
next time on Two Dads and a Podcast.
We will be live streaming on YouTube again. This is going to be an ongoing thing. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Meantime.
Yep. This is where we're going to be.
They bribed us. They heard about the bump, and they wanted to be a part of it. The 2DAP pump.
Yeah, YouTube needs the advertising, so we figured we would help them out.
That sounded like I said 2DAP pump. That's a completely different. That's
on a different website.
You can find that on our you can find that on our OnlyFans, which is also 2Dads.
But yeah, we're gonna be back on YouTube. We're gonna be kind of revamping. We're going to be discussing over the next week what our next and new deep dive is going to end up being as well. So if you guys have any suggestions that you really, really want us to do, and in the meantime, we are also reaching out to more people for our interview series. So we got lots of stuff going on.
And our next top 5 will be, or do you want to stick with 3? Either way, it's going to be Marvel romances. We might as well knock that one out. I'm already done with my list.
But as always, guys, thanks so much for listening.
Go buy The Guardian's Daughter.
Just do it.
Buy it.
Thank you.
I love you all.
Hey, this is Tired Dad, and you've been listening to the Two Dads and a Podcast interview series. For more content, like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitch, and everywhere podcasts are available. To help us bring you more of these amazing interviews, you can support us on our Patreon. Just follow the links below, and thanks for watching.